Hey guys, today I'm going to be showing you a quick little tip of how you can use the Augmented Triad Arpeggio in a 12-bar blues. Let's check it out. All right guys, before we get into this and kind of break it down and apply this augmented arpeggio sound over the 12-bar blues in G, I'm just going to kind of break down and talk about what the augmented triad is, because that's the arpeggio that we are using. Now in G, the augmented triad would be the root, the G note there, the major third, which is B, and the D sharp, which is the raised fifth. So a regular G major triad would just be your root, your third, your fifth, your D natural. But the augmented triad is going to be a raised fifth. Okay, so how do you apply this in the blues? Well, in this particular example, I used it in two different places within the 12-bar blues. The first was moving from the 1 chord to the 4 chord, and then again from the 5 chord back to the 1 chord. Okay, so what I did kind of leading into the 4 chord is played that G augmented triad arpeggio, and I played it exactly like this. I believe that's the direction I played it, but you could also play it in reverse. So that's basically your root, major third, your raised fifth, and then I put another root up on top. Okay, and like I said, you can take the notes out of order, you can play them in reverse. And basically I'm going to lead into the 4 chord. So you can do something like this, leading into a chord tone of your C dominant chord. Like perhaps the E note down there at the 2nd fret on the D string, the 3rd of the C chord. That would be a nice example of the use there. You could go in the opposite direction, do it ascending. Then target that B flat note, which is the flat 7 of your C chord. Okay, so this is a great spot in position 1, talking about kind of where your bar chord is there in G. In position 1, this is kind of the go-to thing here, the arpeggio shape for your 1 chord. It's a really nice sound leading you into the 4 with that raised fifth. Okay, so that's where I use it on the 1 chord. On the 5 chord leading back to the 1 chord, another shape you got to know is this one. Right there. That's with your root on the A string. So right here is my D note, D being our 5 chord in the key of G in our G blues. And the augmented triad, this shape is your root, your major third, your raised fifth, and another root up on top. So you can play it like this, barring that index finger across the G and B string, and it makes a really nice sound getting back into your 1 chord from the 5 chord. Okay, so these are the shapes that I used down in this first position. But later on in the second pass of this 12-bar blues, I played a little bit further up the neck. So you have to find these sounds further up the neck. Okay, so leading into the 4 chord this time, I played this shape that we just learned on D. I played that up on G to lead into our 4 chord, the C right there. And then I think I did something like this, kind of leading into the flat 7 of the C chord or the 4 chord there. Okay, so if you find yourself further up the neck, you want to go to this shape. It's a great shape that you can use on your 1 chord leading into your 4 chord, which is the C right there. And for that example of using it on the 5 chord, leading it back to the 1, I believe I played that shape, the thing that we did on G earlier. Remember, you're going to find this by finding your root right there on the D string. So now for D, I played that shape. Something like that. I believe I played it descending. So it's the same shape we played on G, but now up on D, and that's going to lead you really nicely back into your 1 chord. So I believe in the example solo at the intro there, I may have played something like this. Okay, leading back into G. Now, if you want to get some more interesting sounds with these shapes, remember, you don't have to just play them from bottom to top or top to bottom. You can take the notes completely out of order. You can stagger them like that. double up on notes. Just kind of use your imagination and make it your own. And also, as you learn this stuff, find them all over the neck. These are not the only shapes for these arpeggios. Have a great time with it, and I'll see you next time.